Thought we'd do a little revisit of the log cart. Um, I did a video. This was actually probably one of my first videos that I ever made. I made this last winter, and I actually threw this together in one day. We used to always use a wheelbarrow to bring our wood up to the house, so we go from the barn here up to the house, and wheelbarrow, you're on one tire, and it's a little unstable. So I just had this rebar. I had these tires. I looked at one of these in a magazine that was similar to this. I wanted something with big enough tires to get through snow easily. But yeah, if you've got some rebar laying around, it wouldn't be. I mean, it was easy to make. My welds aren't the prettiest, but I didn't clean any of this up. It was just rusty stuff, and I just tried to burn it in there hot with farmer rod, I think, 6013s, burn through rust or anything like that. But there's a little story time about this. These tires, these wheels and tires right here, actually came off of a 92 Geo Metro that I used to own. So anyway, I was working in Brownstown, and yeah, I saw that just a little nothing used car dealer. And I think they wanted $1,200 or something like that. So this would have been 2002. I bought that little car, and I drove it for years to job sites. It's like a little go-kart, real fun to get around, 3-cylinder, and it did almost get, it was right around 50 miles a gallon. It'd pass a lot of gas stations, that's for sure. And so you ended up getting, it was so worn out after a while. Well, I can actually show you here in a minute. It didn't have any compression anymore, and it wouldn't even start under its own power. At the worst, I can remember I was working in Edinburgh, Indiana, 80 miles one way. Yeah, 80 miles one way to work. And this guy offered me, well, he asked me, he had got a DUI. He lived in Salem, which was kind of out of the way for me. He said, I'll give you $50 a week if you come and, yeah, he had a DUI and he couldn't drive. He said, I'll give you $50 a week to come pick me up every morning and take me home every night. So that ended up being 100 miles one direction when I did that. So that was 200 miles a day I was driving that thing. We got so worn out. Well, for one thing, the exhaust fell off of it. As soon as it came out of the engine, it went down and turned about this much. Now, it had no muffler, no anything. The exhaust was right underneath your feet. We had to wear earplugs in that thing. It was so loud. Well, the engine was worn out so bad, it was going through a quart of oil a day. But it always started. So what I ended up having to do, hold on, I'm going to shut this off and turn you around. Right up there at the top of the driveway, I would park it every night. And I got you zoomed in. And then I would I would go up there, let it roll down the driveway, right there where my Ranger is. And I'd pop the clutch about halfway down, and it would be going in. I could get the engine spinning fast enough where it would fire. And then I had a piece of plastic pipe I'd stick between the seat and the gas pedal to keep it running. So eventually, I got so sick of messing with that thing, it was just shot. But I put these new tires on it. 145 R12. That's what size those are. So yeah, I put this new set of tires on it. Well, it was junk, it was done for. So a friend of mine took it to the junkyard, and I said, hold on a minute. When we got it up on his trailer, I said, I hate to just pitch the end on the pack rat. I should just let them go, but they were brilliant. I just put them on there maybe a month ago before I got rid of it. No, that's not true. That's not true. Let me back up. I put these tires on it when I was still driving it to work. And then I stopped driving it because it just got so bad. And what I ended up doing with it, I found when I was coming back from Edinburgh one day on the interstate, probably about a 3-foot piece of semi-exhaust had came off. It was a miter cut stack that had came out of a muffler, probably on like a Peterbilt or something like that, where it would have been the extension out of the muffler. So it was 3 foot long, 5-inch diameter miter cut exhaust, and I took that thing and I ended up the exhaust manifold on that thing was tiny. So I took off it was done for by this time. I took off the exhaust manifold, I flipped it over where it was pointing up instead of down, put that piece of pipe over it, cut a hole in the hood so it had a stack coming out of it, and I cut the doors off. I took the doors off of it, I cut the top of it off. It was a hatch. It was a two-seater hatchback. So small anyway. It was like a little bathtub you're riding in. And we just go out here in the field and drive around or go down the road with it. I live about 3 miles out of town. There's not many people out here. That thing was so loud with that stack on it, and I checked the oil on it. I never could kill it. I'd run the dog snot out of that thing. It never did blow up. I just wanted it to blow up so I could just be done with the thing. I hated to even get rid of it while it's still running because it's just a play toy. So yeah, I cut it up and got it as light as we could, and had that stack coming out of the top of it. Drove it through a parade one time. Yeah, I drove it, and a friend of mine, one of my sister's friends, Gina, she rode in it with me, and then we pulled my friend Jordan. Yeah, we pulled Jordan. I know it was Jordan, and I think another one of our friends named Corey. We pulled them on. They were on rollerblades, and they had like a rope you use to water ski with. We had 2 of those on the back bumper of it, and they were rollerblading through our parade here in town. And she was a good artist. I guess she still is. I don't see her much anymore. But she had painted our what this town's known for, Orleans is known for, is all the dogwood trees we have in here. So we always have the Dogwood Festival in late April or early May. And so she painted dogwoods all over it, what was left of it, the hood basically. Yeah, because it didn't have any doors. So the back of the car that was left that I couldn't cut off of it, she painted that. And we pulled them through our parade while they rollerbladed in it. I think that was about it for the car, but I used to just put used oil in it, and the thing would never die. It just didn't have any compression. It was totally shot. It wouldn't even start. You'd have to pull start it or park it up on the hill. So I basically had to pull start it every time. I'll load it up, and you can see what it looks like loaded with wood. Get back with you. Okay, as you can see, get a pretty good jag of wood on it. And this little compartment just happened by accident, just as I was trying to put some legs on it. And, it just happened. You can stick wood in there too, but this was on purpose. This is why I did this like this. I wanted that rebar and I bent it just so it could follow the contour of that tire. And then so you can fill this area up, and then all this area up. And I had to fine tune it a little bit. You can see right here, at first, I only had just a short rebar where it would stop the wood from falling out. But whenever you load it up back here, there wasn't enough weight to hold it, and it would want to flip over. So I put these extensions on it where I could actually put more wood up here to balance it. So yeah, that's more wood than a wheelbarrow can hold, and it didn't cost me a dime. So maybe I'll prop you up somewhere and you can see how I push it. As you can see, it pushes with ease, even for an old man like me. There you go. That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, recorder.
No problem. Do whatever I can to help.